Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm wearing a cap because it is still in the 30s this morning. It's done raining, but we're very overcast. The sun's over there somewhere. It doesn't matter where I am. God's here, and that's the important part. I'm sure He knows how to deal with cold. You can get snow in Israel too. In fact, you can go up on one of the mountains and ski in the wintertime. I'd love to be able to do that, but I can't ski anymore with my knees. That's how I tore them up in the first place. All right, so what do we got to do now? We got to basically keep waiting and stay as close to God as we can, do what we can. And remember, whatever we're doing, we're storing up treasures in heaven. I think I'm going to try to climb up to this overlook. Somebody was up there yesterday throwing rocks off into the river. That telltale sign of kaplunk. Ground's covered with leaves, but because of the rain, they're all soft to step on. So while we're down here, in what limited time we have left, you need to be storing up treasures in heaven. We will get there eventually. Fairly soon, but I can't give you a time. We're going to spend eternity there. So you want to make sure that whatever you're taking with you, souls and other treasures that you've accumulated for the heavenly realm, not for your earthly realm, will be there with you for eternity. No one wants to go empty-handed. We have the parable of the talents, the landowner who goes away, leaving his servants with some money, with the hope that they will do something with it. And when he comes back, those that invested it and made money with it, he was pleased with. One of them hid it away because he didn't want to lose it. All right, I'm up on top. Let's see if you can see how far. Where is my tent? I can't see it down there. It's at the bottom, but in any case, I'm up on a nice big overlook. Here we are down the bottom of the river. I'm holding my camera in my gloved hand. I have to have one hand free to push the buttons. I'm so glad there's no wind blowing this morning. That would really make it cold. The long-term forecast has some 20s in the future. I guess I'm going to have to bring my little tent heater. I didn't want to do that for this week. I was hoping to slide by until next week when I can plug in my electric. I really don't like using flames in a tent. I don't have a little buddy. Those actually heat up too much. But I do have one that I can put in there to diffuse the heat. It works pretty good. Had it for a long time. I've got a board that I put it on so that if it tips over, it won't catch my tent on fire. I've done this for a long time, so I'm overly cautious on how I do things. So anyhow, we have the parable of the talents. We also have a couple of examples. There's one in Luke, I think it's Luke 21, where the rich man comes up and puts a bunch of money in the coffers. And some old widow comes up and puts just a few coins in. And Jesus said she gave more than anybody because she gave from her lack, not from her abundance. Tithing is important because unfortunately we need money to operate in this world that we're in. And just remember, I mean, you all know Psalm 23. Everybody knows it. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Your needs are taken care of. You never have to worry about that. I'm hiking down the other side of the mountain. I've been here before, only I came from the other direction. I'm trying to debate if I want to break down and get my fishing license. The taste of freshly caught fish is exceptional. And I've got a river here. And when I go this weekend, I'm going to go across the river to the other side. And I'll still have a river. Coming down, watching my step as I come down. And remember, when we're giving, whether it's our time or our finances, we're not giving God anything that He doesn't already have. It's already His. If we're a Christian, everything we've got is His. Everything. And He doesn't need us to give. He doesn't need us to do anything. He wants us to. He wants us to be like He was, to show the world that we can be giving. And like I said, if you don't have any money, that's fine. You can put coins in an offer plate. You can volunteer your time. This is a lot different than the last time I was here. The water's down. It was raining a lot back then. So I'm going to come on down. I'm walking in sand, beach sand, but along the river. See that behind me there? A lot of these little alcoves that could be fish in them. It's also not running very hard. Someone's got a nice house up on the bank looking down here. I don't know if you can get around to you to see it or not. It's up in there. I think that's in my view. I have to put my glasses on. I can't see. We need to try to pay forward anything that people do to help us. It's been a while, but I was at a supermarket one time and something was wrong with my debit card. Turned out that it was being attempted to be hacked and they disabled it. The lady behind me paid for my groceries. I had enough to cover it, but my card wasn't working. She paid for the groceries and said, just pay it forward. Like I said, God owns everything. So we don't have to worry about ever running out. He will supply us from His riches and glory. Now, I'm not asking for money. What I'm asking for is that for you to do the right thing for God. Find somebody who needs it. There are people that need money desperately. We're coming up on winter. We are in winter. Technically, the first day of winter is the 28th of December. But it's in the 30s, so I consider that winter. The price of fuel oil for heating your house, electricity, these things are more expensive now than they've been in a long time. Pray for those that are over in Ukraine and other parts of Europe that have been without power because they bombed them out of power. People are going to freeze to death this winter. That is not good. But remember, we don't have a world government that wants to help people. They just want to be in control. And reducing the population is number one on their agenda. So yeah, we are watching wars and that around the world, but they don't have to have a war to kill people. Starvation and freezing to death. They don't care which one. They have no humanity. Satan's behind this and he hates humans, especially Christians. We have our election results are basically in. The Senate stays Democrat, the House goes Republican. Doesn't matter whether it's one vote or 1,000 votes. Those are the current standings. We know that the outcome is not going to change the world's, the harlot and her plans. She's still going to go ahead with them. In normal good times, having a stalemate in government is one of the best things we can have. That means they can't do anything to harm us. But we're not going to get a whole lot of changes now because the things that they put into place are bad. And we need to take them out, but we can't. We don't have the votes. They got what they wanted. And I can tell you that anything that they had planned whether it's the monetary collapse or whatever, when things start to happen, the media is going to blame the Republicans, they're going to blame Christians, Jews, anybody that they hate, they're going to blame for all the things that are about to happen. The banks are in the process of testing the CBDC money, the digital money. They are doing transactions with it now. When they get all that tested and working, they're going to come back to us and say, here you go, we're going to go to this. Now, they're not going to do it in a nice, polite way. Because there's some people that are going to say, well, that's the mark of the beast, I'm not going to do it. Digital money is not the mark of the beast. When you have to declare your allegiance to the Antichrist and get the mark, that's the mark of the beast. Individual acts that don't require your allegiance are nothing to do with the mark. You can go along with it. That's why I told everybody this quote thing we used to get in our arm a while back for this big C thing. That's not the mark of the beast. You didn't have to swear allegiance to anything or anyone. It is cold out here, and I'm walking into the wind. I'm going to turn around and go back the other way, take the other path. The river's over there, you can hear it now. It's starting to flow a little faster. Some rapids over there. I'm hoping with all these bare trees that I might see some of the wildlife in here. Last time I was here, I didn't see one deer, and yet they're all over the park. We're still in hunting season. Let's see, what else is in the news? Well, you heard that there was a rocket hit inside of Poland. Everybody, including the Polish government, were all saying, oh, it wasn't really a Russian rocket. It was a Russian rocket, but it wasn't them that launched it. Well, if it's an anti-aircraft rocket launched by Ukraine, they were shooting at something that was very close to the border. Surface-to-air missiles don't have a long range. So that one of their missiles landed in Poland, it was shooting at a rocket that was very close to the border. But Poland and NATO are all trying to figure out ways to smooth it over so they don't go to war. They don't want that. So they're basically nullifying NATO. Instead of having the level 5 alert, they went to the level 4 alert, which just basically means we'll get together, have some coffee, maybe lunch, talk about it, and then go home and nothing will happen. That's what they're doing. And it's basically saying, Russia, you can do whatever you want. Nobody's going to come into this. Unless they outright attack a NATO city or something. And so far, they don't have a need for that. They can do all the punishment they want by simply cutting off power and not supplying oil or natural gas to these cities. So Russia's been given the green light to do whatever they want to do. We're going to have to see what that is. They have to get pretty emboldened to go into Israel, which they're going to eventually do. Israel did another bombing in Syria. And Russia keeps warning them to stop doing that, and they don't care. Got one of our park ranger guys coming through here. Good morning. There they go. They patrol the parks pretty good. He stopped for a second there to pick up some trash that somebody left behind. I picked up some on my walk earlier and threw it in the trash. It's like, come on people, you got trash cans everywhere. But nobody cares anymore. That's the problem that we're seeing in the world. The apathy. Nobody cares. We may not be able to reverse the trend that we're on, but we can still do the things that we know we need to do. We can still help people. As things get worse, more people are going to need help than ever before. We should be in pretty good shape in the United States, but the rest of the world, the UK, the inflation, I think was 11%. The last tally, that's the highest it's been in ages. I don't know if it's the highest it's ever been, but it's certainly in many, many years. Our inflation is higher than what they're reporting. We have better control of the media here, or at least the harlot does, so we can get away with lying through our teeth. At least the government can. Lying always comes back to get you. You have to pay a price for it. And our government is going to pay a price for its behavior. They want to bring abortion back, killing innocent children, innocent babies. They want to bring it back, and I guarantee you they will find a way. In Georgia, I think they overturned the ban that we had here in one of the district courts. They overturned it. It doesn't mean they're approving it necessarily, but they've overturned the ban, so it's no longer illegal. Now, that might get overturned again. It depends on which way our runoff election goes, I think. There we go. My tent. Okay. Let's see, where are we at? There it is, down there. Now I'm going to get back into my tent. I've got to decide if I want to go get a couple more things to help out. My heater, which I didn't think I was going to need. I'm completely comfortable in my sleeping bag at night, so that's not a problem. It's just, how do you hang out when the temperature's in the 30s? You go sit in the tent, you get cold. Even walking around like now, I'm probably a little better off than sitting in the tent, but it's still hard to put up with after a while. I'm going to switch my hand back. Put my bare hand. I got to find my other pair of gloves. I've got gloves that have the fingers cut out of them, so that way I can push the buttons or touch screen on my phone that covers the majority of the hand. So I got to go find that. And I guess I got to go to the storage unit and get my heater. I'm half tempted to go look and see if there's a sporting goods place close by. I can get to the sporting goods place cheaper and faster than I can to my storage unit, and maybe get a better heater. I've got extra fuel with me I brought from the storage unit, so I just need to go get a heater, I think. I need a little buddy heater, I think. That's what I need to do. And when my son gets back here, I will inform him that they're probably going to be moving out of the house soon, and that he may not have a place to live soon. Landlords are going to be having problems keeping up. You may think you're safe because you're just renting, but if the landlords can't keep the place up, you may be out on the street too. And that's, I think, a problem he's going to be running into when he gets back. He's quite happy to, he may be mixed emotions about camping. He's been camping many times. He's an old Boy Scout himself. But when you have comfort and God wants to take it away to get you to pay attention, you best pay attention. I haven't told him yet because I don't know how he's going to take it. But my tent is big enough to house us both. This is they call it an 8-man tent. Yeah. You better be real close to those 8 if you're going to be in that tent. But that's how they rate these things. They lie. If nobody's out to check on what they're doing, every business seems to want to lie. I was looking at sleeping bags online to see if I can get some ideas of what it's going to cost to rig him up. I've got plenty of summer gear, but I don't have enough winter gear. So it's going to cost me a couple $100 to rig him up with I want him to have his own tent for sleeping, and then I'll keep this tent as the living quarters. So that way I only have to heat up one. As long as you're in a sleeping bag that's rated, you're fine. The sun's starting to try to peek up. Where is it? I don't know. It's there someplace. There's sun on my solar panel. If I can get direct sunlight, unabated sunlight, I can get 50 watts going into my battery. That's barely probably doing 10 watts. So I just can't plug things into it until it gets up. It's about 70% on the battery. If I can get it up to 80 or 90% today, I'll be happy with that. If I go to the store, get me a heater, then that will be a chance to charge it up as well. I'll put it in the car and plug it into the cigarette lighter. Give me an hour's worth of charge. It's about 30 minutes there and back. All right. God is hoping that we're doing things down here, that we're not just sitting waiting. And I know I've talked about it before. If you're incapable of doing something, ask God to change the situation, and if He doesn't, do what you can. If you don't have any money, put a couple bucks on the plate, like the old widow did. God will reward. And if you don't see the reward here, it's the reward in heaven where we're going to spend eternity. So store up things that won't rust, won't fall apart, won't break. We have Christmas coming up. Try to make your gift. Besides trying to go out and buy something pre-made, you're going to bring it home and it's going to break the first day. How many toys have you bought your kids and they break them within an hour? I don't recommend video games. I used to give them out, but I thought that they would have enough personal strength to fight the urge to go play the video game at 3 o'clock in the morning and not be able to get up and go to school. Kids can't do that. Get them something else. Get them something educational. They won't like it. but it will help. Make sure it's fun educational, so at least they'll play a little bit. We got Thanksgiving coming up in a week or so. Enjoy the time with your family. I think this may be our last holiday season where we can do that. Make sure they're all Christians. And if they're not, still say the prayer at dinner, so they at least know what to do. Don't go, well, I've got non-Christians here, I'm not going to burden them with this Jesus stuff. No, exactly what you should be doing is burdening them with the Jesus stuff. Because eventually they're going to be on their own down here and you won't be here, but they will remember what you did. They may fool some people that aliens abducted us, but most people are going to be aware. All right. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.